Okay, how's it going, dudes? On the bench today we've got a mid-50s, I think it's about a 56 or something like that, Silvertone. I'm not sure what this is, an 8-inch speaker in it. I think it's a 1331. Yeah, model 1331. As you can see, it's got the wrong knobs on it, it's got the wrong speaker, and I guess we'll open it up and see what else is wrong. Today's video is sponsored by Native Sons Goods, makers of the best woven guitar, bag, and camera straps on planet Earth. And now the best is even better with a new line of hand-woven Maya Serape straps with USA organic herringbone hemp backing. Get 10% off when you use the link in the description, and remember, when you support my sponsor, you support this channel, and I sure appreciate it. Okay, here are the tubes that this thing shipped with. We've got a Raytheon 6X5 for the rectifier, and we have a Groove Tubes 6V6. Let's go ahead and pop the chassis out. Like I said, we'll see really quickly what's up with this thing. Like I said, I think this is 1956, if I'm not mistaken, right around there. It's when they had this style of cabinet. This is Danelectro-made, as a lot of the Silvertone, really most of the Silvertone amps were Danelectro-made, if not, I think all of them might have been made. Don't quote me on that, but I think almost all of them, from like mid-1940s all the way up to like the late 60s, were pretty much all Danelectros. Danelectro also made amps for other companies, of course, but I think they were pretty exclusive for guitar amps for the Silvertone label for Sears. Let's see. Oh, you got some funky tape. That tape kind of needs to go anyway. We got some funky tape on that. I'll probably unsolder that and shrink tube that properly. We'll go ahead and pull this chassis. We've got 4 screws. There's 2 hidden up under here, so you try to pull one of these out, you got to get these 2 that are at an angle under here. This should be a pretty good sounding little amp. It's got like I said, it's got a power transformer. I believe this is the power transformer. Well, I mean, obviously it is, because that's the output transformer. Very tiny power transformer. So I mean, this is something, I wouldn't be surprised if this power transformer runs pretty hot, just because of the size and everything. It's probably, well, I mean, it's not going to be drawing much amps really if it's properly serviced, but at the same time, it wouldn't be hard for it to kind of overheat if some of the caps and stuff were bad, and you know, started having issues. But yeah, this is pretty typical. It's pretty typical of what you see on these Silvertones. You've got this little shield up here. It's pretty amazing what Danelectro was able to cobble together, you know, and make work. A lot of this stuff, you know, like, I mean, this is an aluminum chassis, so it's a bent piece of aluminum. This is obviously steel because you can see the corrosion, but this piece is aluminum. Let's see. Come on, get up out of there. Like I said, a new speaker. This is a Gibson mod speaker. This Italian-made, cheaper speaker. It should be okay though. It's barely in the cabinet though. This thing has a distinct smell about it. This has got some mold in it. You know, a lot of old amps will kind of have that, but this has definitely got some. I could tell it when I opened it up. It had some mold, but yeah. Okay, so we've got a couple of capacitors that have been changed over here. A couple of the power caps have been changed already. Looks like we've got a pair of caps changed right there. We've got these caps that are still new though for some odd reason. That's probably pretty silly to leave those and not change those if you changed all the rest of them. Yeah, there's really nothing to one of these. I mean, look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resistors. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 resistors. And then we have two big caps. This little adjustable cap, which you'll see these sometimes on these old Danelectros, and I really don't understand it. I don't know why they even used it. I don't know. I've given up speculating on that one. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that's really one. So 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 caps. I mean, it's, you know, like I said, there's nothing to it. And then we've got 3 tube sockets and some jacks and a couple pots. Nothing to one of these at all. And like I said, it's probably going to be a pretty good sounding little amp. I think probably first order of business is go ahead and shotgun these capacitors, because these Sangamos are shit. They're just awful. It'd be best to get rid of those. These are in here pretty well. I'm actually fairly impressed by that. Usually when I see something that's already been worked on, it's been bodged. But this has not been bodged by the look of it, so I think these might be alright. So, yeah, I'll stick into this a little further. This one might be pretty easy going. Okay, let's go ahead and dial this thing up on the Variac. I've got it plugged into the output there. We'll see if anything happens. Just measure the B plus while we dial this thing up and see if we get anything on the B plus. I'm not sure what the complaint on this was. I can't really recall, but we should get something. We should get something right there off of this, off that power node. Man, this thing really is. This thing's moldy. Starting to get some voltage. This is 157 volts right there. We've got 86 volts on the input, 14.5 watts. I can hear sound at the output. There's no major hum or anything. Huh. Well, there's no fault at all that I could... Well, what's that? What's that all about? Okay. Well, that's lovely, isn't it? It stops when I put my probe on. What the hell's up with that? Oh, is that? Oh, it's because this is going on by the input. That's exactly why. Look, this is why. Look, I'm getting interference through the input. That's stupid. That's fucking dumb. I don't think I've ever done that before. That's a new one. My lead got caught up on the inputs, so that's nothing. But these are not grounded jacks either, so you know, the problem with not having grounded jacks obviously is that, you know, when nothing is plugged in, it's just gonna squeal. So, you know, you'd have to adjust your volume accordingly. And also, on an amp like this, I just hate having 2 jacks on it to begin with, because, you know, all this extra stuff that's on here is just acting like a big antenna. You know, there's really no advantage to it at all. You're never going to plug in 2 guitars on this thing anyway. So you know, there's no real reason to have it. It's just so, you know, at the time they could kind of upsell kids and say, "Oh, play with your friends," you know. You get your friend to plug into the same 8-inch speaker, and you guys can rock out through the same 8-inch speaker, which, you know, there's no other explanation really for that other than maybe a microphone. In some cases, I guess somebody might have had a microphone that they would have plugged into that, but it's just silly. For today's purposes, it doesn't need to be there. Are we going directly into we are. Okay, so this amp goes directly into, from the input, directly through a pot, then through a capacitor. Okay, so this is almost like having a set of guitar controls in front of, you know, an extra set of guitar controls before the first amplification stage. There's only really 2 amplification stages in this thing. Is this a 6J7? Is this just one amp stage? Oh, it's an SJ. Okay, it's an SJ. It's a pentode, so you know, at least it's got that going for it. But yeah, the controls are before the first gain stage instead of, you know, in between stages. Yeah, I think, you know, definitely, let's go ahead and, actually, we never did really see what it was doing fully, so let's go ahead and fire it up again without my probes in the way. Okay, so there's 120 volts, and let's just see what it does. The controls need to be cleaned. I'll clean the sockets. I don't think this thing's going to need anything. It's already, I mean, it's been serviced. It's got new Sprague Adams for the power caps. It's got a new mod speaker. Basically, the only thing it would need is a handle. And, you know, I mean, anybody can order a handle. I'm going to replace these capacitors for him, and I think that's probably going to be about all this thing needs. I'll do some cleaning and replace those capacitors. But yeah, I don't think this thing is going to really need anything else. Okay, so here is this thing fully serviced, and basically all I did was I cleaned some pots, cleaned some jacks, cleaned some sockets, replaced 1, 2, 3 capacitors, and that's it. I think we're going to be pretty good. I'm going to spot check a couple of these bigger resistors right here. I'm not spot check, I'm just going to check them. There's only 2 of them. The bigger ones, probably check this one as well. This one, I may change that to a higher value because that one is right in the that's right in the power supply. That could probably stand to be upgraded a bit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what kind of drop is going on through that resistor, and we may change it, we may not. But I'll check the value, check these, make sure they're all right. But yeah, I think we pretty much are ready to put this thing back together. Oh, I also shrink tubed the leads going to the speaker, so that's tidy. It's about the simplest thing you could imagine. Okay, here we go. We're going to give this thing a test. I'm going to use my custom Zio guitar that was sent to me by a viewer to the channel, Dennis Ponzio, out of Los Angeles, California.